For 22 days now, residents in the Ukrainian capital Kyiv have had sleepless nights. They have been living in constant fear. The fear of losing their loved ones, the fear of losing their house, the fear of being attacked by the Russian shelling. And Moscow does not seem to have any plans to scale down its offensive. In fact, in the latest, the Russian Defense Ministry released a video showing units of the Russian airborne forces with tanks and trucks setting up checkpoints in the Kyiv region. Earlier today, a 16-story residential building in the Donetsia neighborhood of Kyiv was hit by a downed missile. The attack at the residential block took place at around 5 a.m. local time. At least one person was killed and 4 were injured when the missile hit. Though the fire in the building has been put out, residents are being evacuated. Videos showing the aftermath of the missile attack, with the exterior of the 16-story building damaged and apartments inside strewn with debris. WION has been reporting from ground zero. We have been getting you reports right from the heart of our conflict. Our correspondent Anas Malik is with us live from Kyiv. Let's go straight across to him for the latest coming in at this point. Anas, another residential building that's been targeted in Kyiv. You've been there at that site of the attack. Tell us more about what you have been seeing around you and what the locals have been telling you.
Well, Molly, this seems to be a trend of civilian residential buildings, high-rises being targeted, at least in the past week. I'm standing in the Shevchenkiskivi neighborhood of Kyiv city, which was targeted yesterday. No press could get here yesterday because of the curfew. And behind me, you can see the scale of the damage as well. I'll just get aside and I'll just try to explain that. You see those cars under the rubble. You see the debris of the apartment building. This is a residential compound, and the buildings around it as well, they've taken the hit. You can see this, the building right next to it as well has taken the hit quite in a severe and intense manner. And this is not the first building that has been hit. We've seen, as I said, this is a trend that has been happening, that is there, and more and more civilian residential compounds, most of them being high-rises, have been targeted. Now, why have they been targeted? That is a question that is unexplained for now. What we understand is that some of these buildings have also been hit because of the rocket intercepts. But the trend that we're talking about is primarily, by the looks of it, it looks like that it is to scare off the residents from these buildings, so that there are lesser and lesser people in case if the Russian forces try to advance towards Kyiv. So there is lesser civilian population or lesser civilian-led resistance that they might have to face with. That being said, the other problem at hand remains is with regards to the infrastructure and the capability of the city to deal with such situations. As I said, I'm standing at one of those sites which were targeted very recently. Just yesterday, hours back, residents are forced to sleep not in their apartment rooms, but in the corridors, in the hallways, of the fear of those windows being damaged in case of a hit, and then glass shards going off, and that could possibly injure them. So the fear is there, and residents or civilians continue to suffer. Molly?
Right, and we were talking just yesterday about another attack that took place at a residential site as well, Anas. If you can help us better understand where these areas are located within Kyiv.
Well, right now the attacks have been taking all over the city of Kyiv, literally all over the city of Kyiv, and all of them, minus just one exception of the Antonov factory, all of them are residential compounds, be in the south, north, east and west. This is the Shevchenkiy area, which is towards the west of the city of Kyiv. It's in Kyiv city. Then earlier in the morning where we were today, that's in the east of the city, that's in Donetsk. Then we saw the other attacks as well taking place in the north of the city. So by and large, all the entire city infrastructure has been targeted, and as I said, there is no explanation per se why residential civilian infrastructure is being hit, despite the fact that Russian side claims that the Russian side claims that they are going to be targeting only military installations. You can see behind me how difficult it is for residents to go inside. These are elderly women who's trying to make way into her apartment, primarily because this is where she used to live. Right now, she does not have any other place to go except to go back to her home where she was living before this hit. And you can see she's trying to walk through that rubble and that debris in order to get inside her apartment. These pictures, they explain a lot, and they are telling, they are self-explanatory by and large as to how civilians continue to suffer at the hands of what is believed to be Russian aggression. Molly?
Indeed, Anas has been also getting us a sense of the reactions coming in from the locals all throughout. Another concern, Anas, as we have been pointing out repeatedly, is over the supplies running out within Kyiv as a result also of the access which could be cut off.
Well, yes, supplies is a bigger problem here in the capital city of Kyiv, primarily because it is dependent on supplies that come from elsewhere within the city. About 50% of the population has left from the city of Kyiv. 50 to 60%, it is being said that they have left, and those who are behind, they've chosen to stay back, and they as I said, as you can see in these pictures as well. This is an elderly resident trying to make her way inside her apartment that was hit yesterday. So supplies have been coming to your part of the question. Supplies have been something that has not been there, and the city is dependent on supplies that have to be brought in from elsewhere, primarily from the western side of the country. So the trains that have been taking out passengers from Kyiv to Lviv are bringing in supplies from Lviv to Kyiv, because barely people are traveling from west to the center of the country where I am. That being said, the grocery stores are running out. They're fast run out of supplies, and then we see them being fulfilled or filled the very next morning. So there is a demand and supply gap. There is an acute supply shortage of supplies that can be felt, and one of the reasons is the curfew as well, because the city goes under curfew starting 7 p.m. and that lasts for about 12 hours. So that's one of the reasons. Then the grocery stores, they open between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. only. So that rush of people, those who try to flock in with those supplies, that is one of the reasons as well that's causing an acute shortage. Molly?
Right, we are leaving it there for the moment. Anas Malik getting us those inputs from Kyiv. Thanks very much and stay safe. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.